French likely to provide most of the opposition. Having a look at the start sheet, only 30 qualifying for the mass starters, I'm sure you know. What do we got? 5 Norwegians, 5 French, 5 Germans. That's 50% of the field. Only 3 Russians getting through, 3 Austrians as well. But we do have a total of 13 nations. Ukraine, Slovenia, Czech Republic, Bulgaria, Sweden, Korea, Belgium, all getting athletes through to the mass start, the first mass start of the season. Les Lukas Hofer dropped dramatically in the pursuit, which is unusual for him. He had a bad day with a rifle. Be nice to see him pull it back and get himself back up towards the top 10 in the World Cup standings. Tadej Bø lying second in the World Cup standings. The two brothers 1 and 2. First time that's ever happened, and certainly Johannes the quicker. Tadej Bø shooting very, very well. The Austrians, I think, probably looking at Julian Eberhardt to produce their best results. Simon Eder, if he shoots well and fast, then he might be in the mix, but looks to be lacking a little bit of speed, as do the Russians at the moment. Loginov, in particular, shooting really well, but he's not got the leg speed to hold on to, certainly the Norwegians, and this man, Benedikt Doll, who won the sprint here a couple of days ago. France, under the guidance of Vincent Viteau, former #1 French cross-country skier, have come on leaps and bounds. Johannes Tingesbø, very, very clever shooting yesterday. Christiansen just stole 3rd place from Tadej Bø with a good sprint on the last lap, and getting his first podium of the season. Fielmeyer, well, it was a great duel he had with Johannes Tingesbø, but the Norwegian showing the Frenchman who was boss on that last lap. Unbelievable shooting from Fielmeyer. 20 out of 20, and made a very, very good fist of taking on the world #1. But Johannes Tinges too fast on that final lap, and very, very clever with his shooting on that last loop. He is now not only the best biathlete, but he's the most adaptable as well. The Golden Gun does it yet again, and extends his lead in the World Cup to some 49 points over his brother Tadej, and then 76 points back to Quentin Fielmeyer, who lies 3rd, wearing 3 in that shot. So these are the scenes in Le Grand Bornand, and slowly, slowly the stands filling up. They don't want to miss this one. First mass start of the season, the 30 best biathletes in the world, and the first 25 all wearing numbers correlating to their World Cup position. So it will be Johannes Tinges in yellow, Tadej Bø wearing 2, Fielmeyer 3, Simon Dessieux, the 28-year-old Frenchman, who's on the same sort of form as he was last year, 4th last year in the World Cup standings, lying 4th at the moment. Loginov is wearing 5, the best marksman on the tour so far this year. An astonishing 86 of 90 shots have gone down in the individual races. Never made a podium in the mass start, though. Maybe this is the test that he's failed to conquer. Many feeling this is the ultimate test of a biathlete. At 15 kilometers, it's the 2nd longest race they do. 4 shoots, but it's the fact that you are head-to-head, and alongside you, the very best in the world. Doesn't have that team aspect of the relays, and it doesn't have the expectation that getting a good start in the pursuit does. But very noticeable that at major championships, it's very seldom the #1 in the world who wins. 7 world champions racing in the field today. So a very warm welcome to Le Grand Bornand, just up above Annecy. Beautiful area. The weather not quite as nice as it's been. So we're ready to go. Clock is started, And as opposed to yesterday with the chasing start, they all go off together. Obviously an advantage to be in that front rank. The two Burr brothers plus Quentin Fillon-Maillet, and it's the yellow bib of Johannes Tingis who takes the lead. He'll want to control things early on. Now, being the fastest skier, he has an option. Does he take it easy and be well under control when he comes in for the first shoot, or does he go as hard as he can and make everyone else suffer? The latter is certainly a risky strategy, but it's one that will upset a number of those who are trying to hang on. And already the field's starting to string out, which is an indication that Johannes Tingis is going pretty hard from the gun. Tadej Burr already losing 4-5 meters to his brother Fillon-Maillet in third, I think, and then behind him Simon Dessieux. So the French have had a fantastic season already. Emilien Jacquelin with a good start to get himself up into that group of 5. He's wearing number 7, and Jacquelin got a third position in the pursuit. His mass start PB is 9th, so he'll be hoping to improve on that today. Good start also from Lukas Hofer. He's put in a lot of energy to get himself closer to the race leader. And I think Hofer now sitting in 5 or 6. We'll get plenty of splits on the way round, but you can see the action at the front. Other bib numbers, who should we watch out for? Well, the world champion is Dominic Vindisch. He's starting wearing bib number 17, and he won that world title missing 3 targets. It was a windy day. Have a look at the stats there. Some 137 penalty loops were skied. As we have a look at Johannes Kern, what is going on there? Well, that's tough to explain, unless surely his bindings were done up at the start of the race. That's very, very unusual. Kern has got to hope that the pace is pretty steady, but already we can see that Johannes Tingis is pushing things. Benedict Doll not interested in chasing at this stage. He wants a steady start, but how many men have gone with it? All the French, most of the Norwegians have decided to live with this pace. I think Lukas Hofer is in that group as well. The Italian suit, a darker blue than we've seen from the French in their teal suits for this year. There's Martin Fourcade, Fourcade on form, but you know, frustrated that just little mistakes are keeping him away from the podium. And Martin Fourcade, remember, 7-time overall winner, down in 6th place in the World Cup standings at the moment, a full 87 points away from Johannes Tingis Burr. But as opposed to just having 3 within 100 points of the leader, we have 7 athletes in that margin this year. So it's a much, much tighter season. Johannes Tingis very much the king at the moment, but he's only got to miss 1 race, and he could lose that yellow bib altogether. If he wins today, he'll go into the Christmas break a happy man. The tour starting again in Oberhof after the Christmas break. And then, of course, we go to Ruhpolding, which is one of the spectators' favourites. And Ruhpolding starts, what is it? Most of the athletes will be arriving there 13th, 14th of January, racing through to the 19th. And then we go to Pachuca instead of Antolz for the 3rd round of the Biathlon Trophy, and that's because Antolz will be hosting the World Championships. Still time to book your tickets for the Worlds. Should be a good event, running from the 12th through to the 23rd of February. Conditions usually superb in the South Tyrol at that time of year. So Eberhard has gone with the pace, no surprise to see that. Certainly his form is coming back. Loganov is there at 12.9, a bit of in no man's land a little, but Loganov will want to make sure that he can keep his shooting record going. Benedict Doll looking sluggish, but he does tend to get quicker as the race goes on. Iliev going through, number 23, wearing 23, in 22nd. The World Championship silver medalist in the individual event. And Lapshin really struggling at the back of the pack at the moment. Well, look how he strung this field out. 3 kilometers the distance, and there could be a full minute between first and last at the end of this first lap. Now, how many misses are we going to see in that first group? There's no doubt they are working hard. If they can take that much distance out of Loginoff now 150, almost 200 meters behind the race leader. Well, if you've got a skill, you might as well use it. And Johannes Tingis will have lain in bed last night thinking, what am I going to do? He's got the front row, he knew that, and I think he's decided just to make this a hard one from the start, which is quite a bold move when you think how much hard racing he's had. And I mentioned that, you know, the #1 seed doesn't always win, or seldom wins, at the major championships. They do tend to win World Cups. If you look at last year, Johannes Tingis winning 3 out of 6, and he was on the podium for 4. Was it 5? Yeah, 3 out of 5. And he was on the podium for 4 out of 5 of the mass starts last season. But he got nowhere near the podium in the World Championships. And remember, at the Worlds, it's the last event. So the big names have not only raced in all the races prior to that, the mixed relay, the sprint, the pursuit, the individual, the mass start always the last on the card. And consequently, the big names often very, very tired by that stage. So the gap starting to open. The two Beur brothers living with it. Fillon-Maillet stuck in third, making advantage. Martin Fourcade, he said he was on good form, but it's the shooting that's let him down so far this year. I think we have to agree with that on what we've seen on this last lap. There's number 4, that's Simon Dessieux, 28-year-old, and having a similar start this season to the one he had last year. Now, I think Ziggy Mazet, the Norwegian coach, the Frenchman in charge of the Norwegian team, I think he's going to be a little bit nervous. Here he is, just trying to get the rain off the telescope. This is going to be a difficult job. Who does he watch? I suspect his sights will be on lane #1 and Johannes Tingis Beur, the World Cup leader, the World Cup winner from last year, and the man to beat. Missed one in the first shoot in the pursuit yesterday. He'll want to make sure this time round. Have a look at his abdomen for signs of his physical state. And he looks to be pretty much fully recovered. 4 out of 4 for Johannes Tingis. He's safely through. Tadej Bö going well. So is Fillon-Maillet. He gets 5. No one missed so far. Jacquelin shooting fast and clear. Martin Fourcade gets 5. Big cheer from the crowd for him. And Dessieux could make it 5 out of 5. He does. How about that? A really hard first lap. And all of them have gone clear. Astonishing. Hoffer is the first to miss. He was just hanging off the back. Julian Eberhardt likewise. He's gone and thrown too wide. So those two, I think, probably pushing it a little hard. Dominic Vindisch, the world champion, 2 misses. 300 meters. He's not going to see the leaders in this race, no doubt about it. Florian Claude has done exactly the same. He will not see the leaders with 3 penalty loops. Krijma suffered. Fak has suffered. Oh, my goodness. It is a race where you have to contain yourself. Leitner, former junior world champion back in 2016, won 2 titles in 2016 actually. He's gone and missed. Porschnev, ranked number 30, there he is, just leaving the range area. He's gone and hit 5, and he's going to gain, what, at least 10 places with this first shoot. Erlend Bjørntegard, 5 out of 5, but something must have been wrong on the skis because he's given away a massive time. Look at that, how they've strung them out. They started together, and the top 15 already separated by over a minute on that first 3-kilometer lap. Well, let's have a look and see where Johannes Tingis Beur's rounds are going. When you can't see it, it must be low. Well, I can't remember a time we've seen so many of the leaders on the first shoot going clear. It's a nervy time. There's always lots of pressure. Crowd were pretty subdued. I think the rain's playing its part today. But they'll get into this race as it goes on. Johannes Tingis has stolen a little bit of a lead from lane 1. He shot very, very well. Wasn't the first to settle because they shot on their own lanes according to their bib number. That will change second time round. And as a result, Emilien Jacquelin, one of the first to get around away. There he is, sitting at the back of that second group. So Johannes Tingis with, what's he got, 60, 70 metres? He's got half a penalty loop, certainly, maybe more. Now the crowd starting to get into it. It's a familiar sight for them. The French squad trailing the Norwegians, but close enough to make a race of it. So any mistake from Johannes Tingesbø is going to get a reaction from the crowd today. Tadia Butt still hanging on to second, having started second. Fiormaillet started 3, still sits in 3. Jacquelin wearing bib number 7. Good start from him. Martin Fourcade no longer has everything his own way. He has to hope others miss, I think, for him to win at the moment. Well, there's the race situation. Top 6 separated by 23 seconds. And Johannes Tingesbø at the moment, 11.1. So if he gains another 10 seconds on this second loop, he has gained himself a penalty lap. Dale for Norway, 43.6 behind. Not been a bad season for him. Making his mark in the Norwegian team. And if he keeps going as he has done, I think he may be a regular in the Norwegian relay team. Next relay in the World Cup will be in Oberhof, the first round after the New Year period. And we've got a sprint, a relay there, and the second of the mass starts at the end of that week. It's always an interesting one. Hopefully they're going to have better snow conditions than they've had for the last, decade, and snow conditions everywhere are better than they've been for a long, long time. I know it's raining at the moment, but there's still a reasonable base in the Alps. Johannes Tingesbø pushes it from 11 to 14, slowly but surely pulling clear. Now, what's happening to Jacquelin? Now at 15.6, Dessieux at 25. Benedict Dull, well, he is completely off the boil, maybe burning his boats yesterday. He'll have been very, very disappointed with his performance in the pursuit, dropping from first down to 5th. And he produced a similar shooting score to the one that he produced in Hogfilsen when he won the world title sprint. 3 misses, and with 1 miss on this occasion, it was shoots 2, 3 and 4 where he threw 1 wide. Back in Hogfilsen 2017, he missed on the first 3 shoots, 1 again on each occasion. So just a slight lapse of concentration. Schemp in 18th place. Good to see Simon Schemp. He's another man who's won this world title in the mass start. He did it back in 2017. That was Hogfilsen again. It was a good championship for the Germans. And that was really the last time that they dominated world biathlon. Dalmar was in full flow. The German women's team certainly missing her services. Neuner could still be racing, really. Remember, she was at her prime in 2010. Plenty of athletes here who were in action in 2010. So he's on his own, and this is familiar territory. Now, I don't have to remind you of his record from last year, dominated the World Cup Tour, 16 wins in all. But I think an even more impressive stat is the fact that he's raced here in 6 individual races now. He's won 5 of them and finished 4th in the sprint on Thursday. So he really has got an astonishing record on this course, and the layout suits him. A big climb out of the stadium and then a long recovery back down into it. We'll see how he shoots with a high pulse when the Tour goes to Antolz for the World Championships. But I think, you know, it's not easy to dominate the World Cup Tour, go to the Worlds as the hot favourite and keep producing top results, because there are many athletes here who will have made the World Championships their focus for this season, so they won't be too fussed about their early season results. As long as it's good enough to keep them on the Tour, they can stick to their plan of peaking at the beginning of February for the Worlds. So Johannes Tingesbø leading the way, 4 wins in the bag already this season. Can he make it 5 out of 7 today? Shots seemed to be low in the first shoot, and that was low, just clipping the base. Again, below the 10, but central. That's more comfortable. Can he make it 5? He does. Well, that's through what is quite a tough part of the race, and suddenly, from having 11 to 14 seconds clear, Johannes Tingis is going to find himself at least 25 clear. Jacquelin going well. Filmé shooting 5 out of Filmé. Oh, throws his 4th one wide. Jacquelin is clear. Good shooting from him. Tingesbø taking a long time over that 5th shot, but it's gone down, so it was worth the few seconds. Keeps himself in a podium position. So Jacquelin is out. Well, I'm surprised it's only 18 seconds. That was a quick shoot from the Frenchman. Tingesbø at 24.7. Dessieux has missed. Filmé has missed. And now Dale on the range on his own for Norway. Joined now by Ada and Dull. And number 18, that's Vetle Sjåstad Christiansen of Norway. 13 coming in is Julian Eberhardt, giving away a lot of ground at the moment. Simonada, can he make it 5? He does, taking his time compared to his normal performances. Benedict Dull with a penalty loop on his current state of fatigue. The last thing he wants is an extra 150 metres. Now, let's see Simon Schemp. Had a good race yesterday, shooting clear. This is it. His confidence is back. Hasn't quite got the ski speed to compete, but if he gets a couple of good shooting results in succession, I think Schemp will secure his place in the German team. World champion Windisch has missed on the first shoot, on the first shot on the second shoot. Cloud misses likewise. Fact this time makes it 5. Hoffer, who missed a lot, a bag of targets on that first shoot, has gone and hit 5. So slowly getting himself back up towards the top 15. But the race leader is long gone. Here he is, Johannes Tingesbø, no mistakes so far, and skiing faster than anyone else. Coming up towards the halfway stage, and you can see we still have 5 men in the top 10 who've shot the perfect score on the prone. Many feeling that the standing shoot is harder, but it really depends on what the conditions are like. And shooting doesn't come much easier than it is here in Le Grand Bornand. Conditions getting harder as the race goes on, 5 times round, and a word of sympathy for the women who race later on, so they'll patch up the tracks where they can. They'll take a lot of the loose stuff off the surface. They've laid down a base of almost a metre of artificial snow, and there's been a little bit of fresh snow on top of that. Plenty of rain as well. Tariabo now at 31. Jacquelin from 18 to 22, so again finds himself a penalty loop behind. Never finished better than 9th in a mass start. Should be able to put that right today. Fiume started 3, and a miss on that last shoot puts him to 55.7. So the French are still there in numbers. Jacquelin. Really good pursuit race in Hogfilson, where he got himself onto the podium, and that's an indication that you're good at racing head-to-head. Very different psyche to the time trial events, and much more exciting. There's more crowd involvement, and you know that you're up against the guy who is next door to you on the firing mat. Tariabo now at 36, so again Johannes Tingis has pushed that accelerator. He's gained 10 seconds on Jacquelin. That takes a lot of doing. Fiume can't stay with the pace of the leading Norwegian at the moment. Simon Dessieux, 28, and not looking particularly comfortable. So Norway and France dominating the leaderboard at the moment. That's Johannes Dahle. So 3 Norwegians and 4 Frenchmen in the top 7. Where are Russia and Germany and Austria, teams that have challenged them in the past? Nowhere to be seen at the moment. But it's great that the French are there, because the longer they stay there, the more the crowd are going to get involved with this one. So look at that, top eight positions, just 2 teams involved. But as I mentioned at the head of the programme, 3 teams, Norway, France and Germany, with 50% of the entrants in this race. Ada of Austria is the best of the rest. He shot well on that last prone shoot to pull himself up the order. Number 5 is Alexander Loginov. Nothing really coming out of the German skiers at the moment. So back down towards the range. He's got another minute or so just to prepare himself for the shoot. But at his level of fitness, that long downhill stretch, there's the first mistake from Johannes Tingis, just getting caught on the back of the ski. That'll push the pulse up a little. So 2 shoots completed, 2 more to go, both in the stand position. Yet to miss a target. It's a big test for Jacquelin today. Jacquelin, only 24, comes from Biathon and could well have a problem catching this man. So this is the penultimate shoot, and if he can build himself a margin of 40 seconds, you'd think the writing was on the wall. But remember the World Championships last year, he had this particular race in the bag. but then threw it away in the final stages. There's the first mistake, where he's not hung around, just kept the rhythm despite the miss on the third shot. That takes quite a lot of discipline, but he's got 150 meters to ski, so suddenly things could be evened up. Now, 30 seconds down. Johannes Tingis will have the lead, whatever Jacquelin achieves on this shoot. Jacquelin so far only 79% hit rate in the stand for this season. Missed one on each of the standing shoots in the pursuit. This looks good. There's a delay between 3 and 4, but it's gone down. He's thrown number 5 wide. Taribo, who's been deliberate all day, just taking a little more care with the shooting, and that's where that's certainly been his strong part this season so far. 3.5 seconds or so between the shots, and again 5 targets go down. So it's the two brothers, 1 and 2. Well, we've seen that more this season than we've ever seen before. That's why they're number 1 and 2 in the world. But it's Johannes Tingis who still leads. 24.4, still a penalty lap between the two of them. But Taribo loses, what, 5 to 10 seconds on the range every time. So effectively, his brother Johannes Tingis is 30 to 35 seconds clear. Martin Fourcade just looking to make sure with the targets. He gets 5. The crowd respond. They know how difficult it is when you've had a run of bad results. Bad by his standard. He's still 6th in the World Cup standings, but he's used to being number 1. Dale throws 2. Suddenly the pressure is starting to mount. Still, it's all about Norway and France. Norway, the top 2 positions. France, 3, 4 and 5. Christiansen with mistakes. Ada clear on the last prone, but he's thrown 1 wide on that stand. Now, Leitner's doing well. Impressed by him. Simon Schemp logging off, as you would expect, hitting 5. Remains the most successful marksman on the tour so far this year. Bjørntegard, nice to see him hit 5. He's been struggling a little, but what about that with Iliev? Iliev has gone and thrown masses. What was that? Was that 3 misses, 4 misses? He's going to be on the penalty loop for the next 2.5 minutes. Now, keep an eye on Lukas Hoffer's targets. Needs a boost. Started the season really well, looked great. Just struggled a little the last couple of weeks. One mistake from Johannes Tingis, but he remains comfortably in the lead. 25 seconds clear of his brother. Is that France's chance of a win gone? Jacquelin back to 35 behind. Not quite, but Johannes Tingis has got to miss 2 for Jacquelin to have a chance of winning. The French haven't won here so far this week. They have one more chance after this, the women's race. Justine Brézard certainly with a chance. She's skiing very well, and on the whole, the French shooting well. Well, there's the gap between 1 and 2. Taribo, I think, will know that his brother's got to miss 2 for him to have a chance of winning, but he'll also know that if he misses 1, then he may lose 2nd place. Just pipped to the podium yesterday, Taribo. But even if he finishes 2nd, he's going to find himself over 50 points behind his brother in the World Cup standings. Jacquelin with the support of the 20,000 fans here today. Fourcade, steady performance. Now, it's not been the sort of start to the season we were expecting. Fourcade's reports over the summer were that he was in very good shape. He eased back on the training that he did last year. Certainly overtraining, the result, the reason for his demise at the beginning of last season. Never really got it back at any stage. But remember, he did win the individual race in Östersund. But other than that, he has been out of the top 10 on 50% of the races this year. Remember, he had one season where he only had 1 race off the podium. Unbelievable, 2 years ago. Well, what's the margin going to be? 24.5 coming out. It's now gone to 34. Remember that Tade will take a considerable time longer than Johannes Tingis on that final shoot, so effectively 40, and I'm now starting to think that Johannes Tingis can hit 3 and still win this one, because he can close 10 seconds on anyone on the last loop, provided he's left something in the tack. And with Jacquelin at 50, if Johannes misses 2, then that's 300 meters to ski. But the one time, the occasions when Johannes Tingis is vulnerable is when he has a very, very comfortable lead going into the final shot. We saw that a number of times at the World Championships. Fourcade at 1:16, Fillon-Maillet at 1:17. Surely we're going to have at least one Frenchman on the podium, but it may only be one. Well, it's a phenomenal team effort. Get your money on France for the World Championship relay. They still know they're going to have to beat the Norwegians, but those have to be the two teams contending for it. Dessieux 1:40, and in terms of penalty laps, well, yeah, I think Johannes Tingis is going to have to miss the lot. Each penalty loop, remember, 150 meters. The first of the Russians going through, Loginov, who's been shooting well today, but at 2:02 behind, he's got no chance. Johannes Tingis just preparing himself for the final shoot. Down a long descent, left-hand turn, and then a couple of chicanes as he works his way into the stadium. This is where he had a little stumble last time round. He won't make the same mistake again. Keeps the knees forward, keeps the hands forward, just trying to relax, bring the pulse down for the final shoot. Won't push too hard on this little climb. He'll know exactly where he lies relative to everyone else, not because of the Norwegian coaches, but he will have seen everyone else on the course. That little Henley's Loop at the top of the course here in Le Grand Bornand, giving him the opportunity to see exactly where his brother is. One of the nice things about the Bure brothers is that they seem to get more pleasure out of the other one winning than they do out of winning themselves. I'm sure that's not the case, but that's the way it appears. But it's the competitiveness between them as kids that has resulted in both of them being where they are in the World Cup standings at the moment. So the World Cup leader, undoubtedly now the world number 1, is first to enter for the final shoot. 5 out of 5, and it's a runaway victory. 4 out of 5, and he's still going to be comfortably clear of everyone else. 3 out of 5, there might be a little pressure if he doesn't shoot fast. But once he starts, he keeps it going right to left for Johannes Tingis. First 2 are down. Once he gets to 3, he'll start to relax. This is nice. Look at that. That is how to win and hold off the opposition. He can take it easy on the final 3 kilometers, because Tade yet to reach the firing point. He's away. He's going to have, what, at least 40 seconds, probably closer to 50. Now, Tade will take his time. This is about defending second, holding off the Frenchman, Emilien Jacquelin. Well, a cheer for that miss, and that is because it gives Jacquelin an opportunity. Be a good race between those two should he hit 5. He's not holding back. This is a very, very quick shoot, and that's going to save him at least 10 seconds. Advantage France for that second place. And Tade, who's been shooting so well today, makes a mistake at the critical moment. What's the lead? It's something like 60 meters. Tade now has to push hard because he'll want second place. He's on the podium, no doubt about it, but if you remember yesterday, he lost 3rd position on the last lap. Fillon-Maillet and Martin Fourcade had gone clear. They won't give up a the chase on second place, although the margin is something like 14 seconds between third and fourth. In fact, just, what is it, 13 seconds, just under 13 seconds back to Fillon-Maillet. Those two could work together. I think that would be a very, very interesting one. Now, Simon Dessieux, ranked 4 in the world. That's an expensive miss. And that could drop him outside the top 10. But all the athletes on the range will have to hit at least 4. Loganov, rare miss. I was just about to say he'll get them, but not the case this time round. Well, there was the miss from Tadej, low right. That was low right again, but safely inside. Best shoot we've seen this season from Jacquelin. Well, excitement amongst the French fans. They'll applaud Johannes Tingis as he comes round. Class of his own, certainly. He's controlled this race from the outset. Went very, very hard on that first 3-kilometre loop. Made everyone else suffer. They all shot well, to be honest. But I think he took the sting out of their legs. And ever since then, he's made up at least 10 seconds on each lap that he's completed. Yes, he's made mistakes, but not on that final shoot. That is where the difference is. Jacquelin looking tired, but so is Tadej. Which way is this little battle going to go? "13 seconds back between third and fourth. We'll get a readout in a moment to see whether Fillon-Maillet and Fourcade managed to close it. Years gone by, it would have been a different Martin Fourcade. You can see the head movement and the lack of spring in the legs. He says he's in good form, but he's still not there on the longer races. He really is suffering come the end. He used to be able to take 15 seconds out of everyone on the last loop. This is the fight for second and third, and still it stands at just under 10 seconds. Jacquelin doing his best to hold off Tadej, and I think as they approach the halfway stage of this last lap, I think Jacquelin will be quietly confident that he can take this one. Fourcade takes his turn in the front. 13 seconds between him and Tadej last time when they came out of the range area. It's cut to 12. They're not making enough of an impression, and you can see the Norwegian a long way down the track. I think Martin Fourcade has given up the chase. Well, look at the margin. Astonishing. 18 hits out of 20. Crucially, he cleared the first 5 to give himself a little bit of breathing space. And by the time he came in for the third shoot, he had at least 1 penalty lapse advantage. And of course, coming into that last shoot, he had a 2 penalty lap advantage, but he didn't need it. Hit all 5. Now, the gap looks to be closing from 9 seconds. It looks as though Tadej is just slowly clawing it back. He's certainly working the harder at the moment, trying to get in contact before they come to the last downhill section. He's got to get in touch, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. Now, keep an eye on the clock. From 9 seconds, has Tadej closed it at all? 45, does he come through in under 53? No. So he's cut it from 9 to 8, and Tadej just securing a podium place at the moment. I can't see that changing unless Jacquelin makes a mistake. Well, it has been a 2-team race, this one, and you have to applaud the French. They've worked wonders over the summer months. All of the skiers, bar Martin Fourcade, much stronger than they've been in the past. And you just wonder how tough that is, not only to lose your position in the world, but to lose your position in the team. Is he first choice for the French relay team at the moment? I'm not sure he is. Filmé, third in the World Cup standings. Dessieux is 4. Fourcade at the moment 6th. Jacquelin in 7. And Jacquelin, just looking, I don't think he's quite going to catch Martin Fourcade today with his 2nd place. Picks up a good quota of points, though. 54 points gained for 2nd. And if Fourcade finishes down in 6th, he will pick up only 38. So that's a 16-point difference. And that's not enough to put him ahead of Fourcade. Luxury, an easy ski to the finish. Hasn't had too many sprint finishes so far this year, but he's had one very, very dramatic one in the relay in Hogfelsen. Probably the best race of the year so far, actually, with an incredible finish. 15 seconds, was it, he had to gain, or 14.5. He had to claw back on Benedict Doll, who's no slouch. Good skis helped on the occasion. Tadej Butt just making sure of 3rd place. And Jacquelin managing to hold on to that gap. Really good ski from Jacquelin. Tadej Butt, 31 now. What is he, 5 years older than his brother? But consistently beaten by him. Be interesting to see the body language when those two are across the line. So, victory number 5 from 7 races. He extends his lead in the World Cup standings. And Johannes Tingis, master of it all at the moment, can seem to do no wrong. It wasn't the perfect shoot, 18 out of 20. He did shoot clear twice. Only 2 men managed to clear 2 mass start races last year. Johannes Tingis was one of them. And the other was Arndt Pfeiffer, who's usually very, very good in these situations. I have to apologise because the coverage on the live feed has not been giving us stats all the way through the day. So really just focusing on the leaders. But Jacquelin really, really happy with his performance today, and so he should be. That is his best result ever, finishing 2nd. So a PB. He, of course, got a 3rd place in Hogfelsen. And what about Tadej Butt? Another podium finish to keep himself in 2nd place in the overall standings. That's his 3rd podium of the season, but seldom, in fact, never out of the top 6 this season. That's the sort of consistency that brings you the crystal globe. But he's going to have to start winning some races because his brother still streaks ahead of him. Make yourself presentable, he says to Tadej. What a race. What a race. Good look over the shoulder from Johannes Dahle. 18 hits out of 20, all those in the top 7. Well, I mentioned Pfeiffer's shooting, just seeing he's come through with a score of 18 out of 20. Good top 7 from him. Simonader will be happy. Again, he hits 19 out of 20 to put himself into 8th, but he's 2 minutes behind the race winner, Johannes Tingis. Well, the 20,000 fans enjoying today's race and enjoying the fact that the tricolore has taken 3 of the top 5 places. Jacquelin taking 2nd, Filmé 4, and a decent performance by Martin Fourcade. He hit 19 out of 20, but still a minute behind. Well, there's alpine skiing coming up from Alta Badia, and Nick Fellows, Finlay Mickle on hand for that event. 2nd run of the giant slalom. Glad to see some of the alpine getting completed this weekend. Well, that's all from Le Grand Bornand for now. We will be back with the women's mass start a little bit later on. Tiril Eckhoff of Norway trying to make it 3 wins in succession here in France, and that would make it 4 World Cups in a row. She's certainly never achieved that, so a fantastic run of racing for her. But Justine Brézard, the best of the French, she might give her a run for her money.
Johannes, congratulations, finishing the year with another win, but those conditions were super tough. You went in front and never left it.
Yeah, I had some good days on the skis, and my skis today were probably best in the field, so I have to say big thanks, because in these tough conditions, when you have the best equipment on the ski, you save a lot of power, and I tried to use my saved power to gain some seconds in front, and it was big success.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Vice President of Bornand. Troisième place, représentant de la Norvège. Representing Norway, third place for Tarjei Bø.
Fantastic job. Congratulations. The coolest runner on the circuit. So well done, sir.
Biathlon Annecy.